Welcome to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP. And today's topic, this major Trinidadian male international firearmness criminality role from the U.S. that he was in. But Black Americans or Black American males are supposed to be the criminals, right? I'm like this. See, the thing about it is the boogeyman within the U.S. is consistently been and consistently now in this early part of the 21st century is to sit there and scapegoat Black American males, even though, again, Black American males are not the most criminality type personnel in the U.S. Black Americans don't commit, Black American males, Black Americans in general do not commit the most criminalities, right? Those are personnel within sectionality of predominant culture, right? But you see how this game goes. And then the nerve, when you have personnel that tether to the skin complexion of Black, that flee from their countries and other places, that they couldn't build up their own places of origin because of so much corruption and tribalism and all those different things, right? You see how this little silly game goes. It's a silly game. It's not even a real type, good, switchery type game, mental game. It's infantile level. So in this situation today, as you see on this picture, this guy's a Trinidadian. But you look at the outside picture, if he was walking down the street, you wouldn't even think twice about that, right? See, there are certain phenotypes that stand out, and other times they just don't. Especially unless they open their mouth, but then they're either telling themselves and stuff like that. If they have some kind of generic allergy, you may think that's a Black phenotype. But the minute they start talking, you understand that that's a tetherness, right? With few exceptions. And we're not talking about some of the good brothers and sisters, right? That are not Black Americans, but they are understanding that, hey, without what Black Americans have been through and still going through within America, many wouldn't even be in America, right? So we're not talking about some of those good brothers and sisters of different cultures and backgrounds that are not Black Americans, because they know what the truth is. Now, relating to this topic today, this particular major criminality Trinidadian male international firearms criminality person. He's been getting away with this for some time. Again, sliding under the banner of Black, right? So let's go ahead and share up my screen on this. Then I'm sitting there and show you some because, again, they people keep thinking that. Hold on for a second. Let me make sure I get this correct first. Give me a moment. Okay. Make sure I get this right first. So you have personnel that keep trying to run certain type infantile games upon certain numbers of Black Americans. The ones they know probably don't understand and see through the game. They say, oh, Black Americans, you need to, basically help out some other melanation brothers and sisters, and be it from certain parts of Africa, be it some parts of the Caribbean. You say, wait a minute now. There is no pan-Caribbean love with one another. There is certainly no pan-African true love with one another because there's 50 different countries. You see how they run this little silly little infantile tactic upon millions of Black Americans with few exceptions, right? Who they feel don't see through the game, right? So Black Americans are supposed to sit there and be in some type of camaraderie with this major, dangerous international criminality, firearmsness type of dealer person? Are you crazy? But this is the infantile game they keep trying to run toward numbers of Black Americans, right? They think that none see through the tactics. So, in reading this, as you see already, leader of transnational criminal organization, extradited from Jamaica, sentenced to 57 months in federal prison for conspiracy to smuggle firearms to Trinidad and Tobago. Today is March 29, 2026. This article, February 23rd, 2026. within Tampa Bay, Shem Wayne Alexander, right? See, that name don't stand out to a certain point of regular black. You see how many slot under the generic black banner, right? Oh, see, there's some slick ones out there, slick tethers. He was only 36 years old, out of Port of Spain, Trinidad, has been sentenced by this U.S. district judge, etc., to 4 years and 9 months in federal prison for conspiracy to smuggle firearms from the U.S. to Trinidad and Tobago. The court also ordered Alexander to forfeit firearms seized during the offense. Alexander previously pleaded guilty. United States such and such personnel made this announcement. According to the plea agreement and court records between April 2019 and April 2022, Alexander, the Trinidadian type of person, and his co-conspirators unlawfully exported firearms components, including upper/lower receivers and gun parts kits, and related items from Florida to Trinidad and Tobago. Alexander is a national. Let's repeat this again. Alexander is a national of Trinidad and Tobago. Did it say that he was a citizen of the U.S.? And don't get that confused, because there's a lot of ones that have falsified documents and became U.S. citizens. Don't get it confused, but those are different topics in itself. I've done various podcasts on that. In total, more than 200 firearms were smuggled from the United States into Trinidad and Tobago. In April 21st, 2021, members of the Trinidad and Tobago such and such enforcement and such personnel at this particular whatever international airport in Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago, seized a shipment containing 2 punching bags. Look at that. So I guess that's the X-ray and stuff like that. Look at this. And they thought they just go right on past that. Right? Were they thinking that some other people were on the take? I'm just asking if that's what they were. Anyway, look at the make. You see the image of, looks like some boom boom piece of equipment, doesn't it? Look at this. Looks like a boom boom piece of equipment, doesn't it? X-ray photo of one of the punching bags showing the firearms and firearm components concealed inside. Look at that. One of the punching bags cut open. Now look at this one. Trinidad and Tobago Enforcement Service revealing the hidden firearms components. Look at that. This is beyond words. Look at that. But you got some people that got some audacity to try to say Black American males are criminals. The audacity. Oh, look at this. Look at this picture. Look at that. This is outrageous. Pure outrageous. Alexander and his co-conspirators had sent the shipment from the U.S. to Trinidad and Tobago, described the contents of said shipment as household items. In reality, concealed within the 2 punching bags were approximately 11 9mm pistols, 2 .38 caliber special revolvers, a 12-gauge semi-automatic shotgun, 3 AR-15 barrel finger foregrips, 19 lower pistol grip assemblies. You get the point. You see all this right here, right? I'm not going all that. You see this already. Man. But at the same time, again, you got people talking about Black Americans are criminals. And here's the audacity part. You got some tethers that have some skin of black, have the nerve to flee from their homeland and try to call Black Americans lazy when Black Americans help build America more than anybody else besides certain people within certain parts of Padami's culture. So you got these latecomers, tethers, and want to be attachers to black, generic black, right? That fled, that couldn't fix their own tribalism problems, that couldn't fix their own other problems, corruption, high poverty, right? Foreign intervention, people taking over their oils in different countries and islands. You get the point. I'm talking about the ones supplies to, right? And have the nerve to flee from those places and try to talk crazy about Black Americans. The freaking nerve. And then get their hand into however numbers of programs helping them out. Do you see how crazy that is? Because they're trying to they're trying to push out various types of Black Americans and various other entities. Do you understand that? Understand? It's a sinister tactic. It's a sinister tactic. Very sinister tactic. So the thing about it is, in close, I want to show one last thing, because remember, as I said earlier, they keep trying to run this little tactic and thinking that Black Americans are so naive that none can see through these little tactics and the little tethers, right? And they keep trying to run games and, well, you know what? You know, be it Caribbean, you should, Black Americans should team up with various people in the Caribbean. You be like, many of them don't even have pan-Caribbean love. Again, look at Cuba. Where's all this gigantic pan-Caribbean love jumping up and down to help Cuba out? Nope. You got numbers of personnel in Jamaica who will tell you there's numbers of personnel in Trinidad and Tobago that don't like certain Jamaicans. There are people in Trinidad and Tobago say this other island has problems with them. You get the point, right? But they try to run tactics upon Black Americans and tell Black Americans, hey, y'all should help people out. Oh, and numbers of the Caribbean brothers and sisters, when you got numbers of various parts of the Caribbean don't even like each other. And let's not even talk about various sections of various parts of Africa, genericalities, right? 50 plus countries, and people that act like when you say Africa, there's some kind of pan-African love. Please. So much tribalism going on. How about the various corruption going on? There are some good brothers and sisters from various parts of Africa who know the game, who know what's going on. Say, yeah, man, there's all kind of corruption going on. There's all kind of tribalism going on, right? But you see, people keep trying to run game, silly type games on Black Americans, right? They're like, no Black Americans see through these tactics, and they're supposed to jump out there and help everybody else first. That's all sickening, mental King Kong nonsense. They trying to run game on Black Americans. Now look at this. This guy named Alexander urges ID checks on non-nationals to aid security. Wait a minute now. What happened to pan-Caribbean love, right? Let me get rid of it here. Look at that part here. Look at that. Now, who is that person? This Homeland Security Minister, such and such personnel, has urged landlords, business owners, and citizens to request identification from all non-Trinidad and Tobago nationals residing on their property, operating business, or staying in their homes. Let me repeat this again. Remember, we're supposed to be what? Pan-Caribbean love, right? Homeland Security Minister, such and such, Trinidad Tobago guy, has urged landlords, business owners, and citizens to request identification from all non-Trinidad and Tobago nationals residing on their property, operating businesses, or staying in their homes. The minister also revealed that deportation have begun, with 6 people sent to Venezuela on Friday. In a telephone interview with the Sunday Express yesterday, the minister said he plans to consult with such and such commissioner to ensure protections are in place for anyone who faces threats for requesting identification from employees, tenants, or individuals with whom they have personal relations. I am calling on all landlords. Did he say a piece of landlords? He said all landlords in Trinidad and Tobago, business personnel who have employed or who have tenants of non-Trinidadians, something, to get the information of these people, he said. But at the same time, when people got to try to run game and try to sit there and tell Black Americans that they need to sit there and be the saviors of other groups, because the ones that have some skin of black, be it darker skin black, medium skin black, or light black. You get the point, or in between those. You get the game of this, right? They really do think, again, Black Americans are overall stupid. Right? They really do. So I also kind of want to relay this particular article out on that, about this major Trinidadian male violent, where you want to call it, international firearms criminality dealer in a major role. Right? But again, Black Americans are supposed to be, especially Black American males, are supposed to be the criminals, right? You see how it goes. I thank you for tuning in to the Real CP Show.